All right, let's get right into it. We're going to pull back the curtain on something that feels like magic in the fashion world. How do they know? How do brands spot the next blockbuster it bag, way before the rest of us even have a clue?
You know the feeling, right? One day, a certain bag style doesn't even exist in your world, and the next, bam, it's everywhere. It's on every influencer, in every cool shop. It feels like some kind of psychic prediction, a total industry secret. But what if I told you it's not magic at all? What if it's less about a crystal ball and a whole lot more about a system?
So, for ages, the thinking was that spotting the next big thing was all about having, this incredible taste, some kind of fashion sixth sense, a gut feeling. Well, we're here to kind of blow that myth right out of the water.
See, the old way of doing things was always playing catch-up. It was completely reactive. A brand would see a bag fly off the shelves, and only then would they start scrambling, trying to figure out, wait, what just happened? Why did that work? It was basically a high-stakes guessing game, all built on gut feelings and old, outdated information.
And this really lays out the whole shift perfectly. We're talking about moving from just pure guesswork to having actual systems and signals, from being stuck in reactive mode to being proactive. And maybe the biggest deal of all, moving from making these super high-risk bets to making smart, data-driven decisions. So the big question is, how on earth does this new system actually work?
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this new system, because this is really where spotting trends stops looking like an art and starts looking a whole lot more like a science.
The absolute core of it all is this idea called trend detection. And look, this is not just about mindlessly scrolling through Instagram or Pinterest for inspiration. No way. This is about actively monitoring the earliest signals of traction. Think of it like feeling the tiny tremors that happen way before the big earthquake of a sellout hits.
And it all follows this really clear, repeatable workflow. It's a three-step dance, really. First, you detect. You're listening for those very first whispers of a new trend coming from the tastemakers. Then, you validate. You have to see if those whispers are turning into real, actual sales, even small ones. And finally, you confirm. This is where you dig into what real people are saying to understand why they want it. What's the real motivation here? Okay, so how do you actually find and decode all these signals? Well, it's not about looking at just one thing. The real magic is in layering different types of information and looking at them through a couple of really smart analytical frameworks.
Now check this out. There are two essential frameworks that make this whole thing tick. On one hand, you've got IDA. That stands for attention, interest, desire, action. It's all about timing. It helps you ask, hey, is this trend just getting started or is it about to peak? Super important, right? Because you don't want to jump on a trend just as it's dying out. Then on the other hand, you have jobs to be done. This one is fascinating. It gets to the why. It asks, what job is a customer actually hiring this bag to do for them? And trust me, we're going to circle back to that idea in a big way.
But look, these frameworks are just tools. They don't work on their own. They need fuel. And that fuel comes from 4 key layers of signals. So let's break them down, layer by layer.
First up, layer 1, social discovery. This is your ground zero. You're on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and you're looking for those first signs of life. New silhouettes, different materials, cool ways people are styling things. This is the attention part of IDA. You're basically just listening for the very first hum of the buzz.
But here's the thing. Social buzz can just be noise. It doesn't mean anything until you hit layer 2, retail validation. Are people actually pulling out their wallets for this stuff on sites like Net-a-Porter or even J.Crew? This step is absolutely crucial. It's what separates a flash-in-the-pan fad from a real trend with commercial legs. It confirms you've moved past just attention and into real interest and desire.
Now for layer 3, and this one might be the secret weapon, consumer demand. You've got to dig into the real voice of the customer. What are they saying in reviews, in forums, in the comment sections? What do they praise? That tells you what they desire. But even more powerful, what are their complaints? That's friction. And let me tell you, friction is where you find massive opportunity.
And finally, you've got layer 4, macro confirmation. This is the big picture view. Are Google searches for this thing ticking up? Are the big fashion magazines finally writing about it? This is your final green light. It's the signal that tells you, okay, this isn't just a niche thing anymore. This has the potential to go mainstream, and that's when you know it's safe to make a big bet.
Okay, remember how I mentioned that jobs to be done framework? Let's circle back to that, because honestly, this idea is the key that unlocks this entire system. It's a complete mindset shift.
And if you take one thing away from this, let it be this.
People don't just buy a bag for its material or its shape. They hire it to do a job. They're hiring it to solve a problem or create a feeling in their life.
So think about it. What job would you hire a straw bag for? It's not just to hold my phone and keys. No, the real jobs are things like help me look effortless but still polished, or carry my daily stuff without looking like I'm on vacation. Or maybe it's to signal that quiet luxury vibe everyone's talking about without a flashy logo. These are the real reasons people buy.
And just like a job, a bag can get fired. And why does that happen? Well, it's because of all those friction points we talked about finding in the customer reviews. The material snags your favorite sweater. It doesn't have a proper lining, so your keys fall out. The straps are so uncomfortable they hurt your shoulder. It might look amazing, but if it fails at doing its job, it's out. It's not going to be an it bag for long.
So, let's pull all these threads together. What we're really talking about here isn't trying to predict the future. It's not about shaking a magic 8-ball. It's about building a reliable, repeatable process that lets you spot real opportunities before anyone else.
And here it is, the main point of this whole thing. Trend detection is a process problem, not a taste problem. Winning isn't about some mystical good taste. It's about having a smarter system for finding the signals and knowing what they mean.
And what you get from this system isn't just a pretty mood board. It's what the source material calls decision-grade insight. I love that term. It means you have information that's so solid, you can confidently make huge decisions with it. What to design, how to price it, how to market it.
So the result? The big payoff? It's a total transformation. Brands can finally stop chasing trends that are already over. And instead, they can start proactively creating the things that people are just starting to realize they want. All because they finally understand the real job that needs to be done.
It's such a powerful way of thinking. And it really makes you wonder, right? I mean, if this kind of system can work for something as famously unpredictable as fashion, where else is our gut feeling holding us back? Where else are we just guessing when a smart process could actually show us what's coming next? It's definitely something to think about.